Hello, welcome back to another video. So, you've just seen a rather swollen looking River Erewash. Now, we've had a lot of rain the last few days, and we're in the last day of September, so it's the 30th of September. It's around about 7:45 AM. Excuse me. Now, over in the distance, we've got the Village of Trowell. So we've just crossed the River Erewash. We're going to cross the Erewash Valley Railway and get ourselves onto the Erewash Canal and continue it on towards Sandiacre and Long Eaton. So let's continue on. We'll cross the railway bridge and we'll get onto the canal. Now, if the river had burst its banks, all this here has a history of flooding. It turns into a great big ravaging lake. I kind of half expected it to be like that this morning, but we seem to have got away with it. So here's the footbridge over the Erewash Valley line. There's nothing coming, so we'll get ourselves on over. Immediately down the other side we'll be on the canal. Right, so straight away we've got quite a bit of history. So all where these trees are, and there's all these bushes which are overgrown. Now over there, that was where the Stanton Ironworks was, and we've mentioned this previously on a railway video we did, a bit of an explore a few weeks back. And a lot of these, along these walls, there was like brick staircases up like that on both sides. And it would have been to allow for, there would have been rows and rows of boats here at one point, taking deliveries or bringing in goods and supplies for the ironworks, back when it was used for freight. Now all the ivy and all the bushes have taken over that, but behind all those bushes and the reeds and the ivy, there's a lot of history. I like this stretch of the canal. There is so much to talk about. It helps that I grew up not far away from here, and I've probably cycled or walked along here a heck of a lot, especially while I was growing up. I know it that well that I used to cycle it in the dark coming home from work when I was a teenager, and you just get to learn where every single kink and pothole is, and every little bend and twist. So next up we're going to cross the Nutbrook. So that behind us was the Nutbrook, which passes underneath the Erewash Canal and emerges way over there, the other side of the site of the Stanton Ironworks. Now this little bit here, which now looks like a nice little winding hole for canal boats, that was the start of the Nutbrook Canal. Now we followed this way back in May in one of the first videos we ever did, and it's very abandoned. There's sections which are not there at all. And surprisingly, there are sections which are still in water. Even some lock chambers are still existent. And this is fascinating due to the fact that it was closed over 100 years ago. It did serve the Stanton Ironworks, and it does appear on the other side of the Stanton Ironworks with a few sections which are still present. And it was still used up until around about the 1950s and 60s by working boats. Very scarce, I must say. And it was still also used as a water supply for the Stanton Ironworks from the source of the canal. So this is bridge number 14. Now, we've been here before. A few weeks ago, did the railway explore through Stanton Ironworks, and this is the overbridge. So in that direction, it's going to be taking you to the Erewash Valley line, and over that way into the Stanton Ironworks complex. The track is still down right the way through, all the way to the other end. Coming up to the M1 now, immediately after the railway. And if we was going that way, we'd be going south towards London and to the north towards Leeds. It is such a crisp morning, around about 10 degrees centigrade. That's bridge 13 up ahead, and it is Stanton Gate. And there's leaves appearing on the floor. Last day of September. Yeah, autumn's here. It'll not be long before the trees are really shedding the leaves, and we'll get a completely different kind of scenery to enjoy. So where we are now, we're walking along what was Stanton Gate sidings, and there used to be a number of tracks here. It was quite wide, and also the line through towards Stanton Ironworks is still in situ. So coming up to this bridge here, we've got the main road into Sandiacre and Stanton over there on the right, past the field. If we take a little trip to the left, we can just meet up with the Erewash Valley line again. So over on the right, we've got the two slow lines. So we're going north towards Sheffield, and behind us would be Total and Long Eaton. We've got the two fast lines there, and just under the undergrowth there, you see there's a fifth line out of use. Now that is the line that took a direct course to the bridge, what we saw previously, into Stanton Ironworks. So that's been out of use for about 13, 14 years. So just approaching Sandiacre now, we've got the Plough pub over there. It's got a lovely beer garden. It's beautiful to sit outside, especially in spring, summer, autumn. Well worth a visit if you're mooring up or walking past the area. So here we are at Sandiacre. So we've got Stapleford and Nottingham going in that direction, and we'd be off to Derby if we went over there. There's mooring available for a good half dozen boats on both sides. I just imagine it could potentially be very, very noisy indeed. So Trowell, that's where we started. So you can see that's the river Erewash, and there's the canal. We're following that all the way down here. There's the Nutbrook trail, the Nutbrook Canal, through Stanton, and now we're at Sandiacre, and we're going to continue on down towards Long Eaton. Okay, this very big bridge is number 9, and it carries the A52 road. Now this is a dual carriageway, and it's otherwise known as the Brian Clough Way, and in most cases it is a very fast and direct link between Nottingham and Derby. I say in most cases. So it's at this point, just past the A52, we get to the start of the Derby Canal. Now this has been abandoned and out of use for many, many decades. Now there is a group involved in its restoration. It's a long-term project, and that is www.derbycanal.org.uk. I'll also put that on the screen below, and it is one we'll be walking, I'd say probably the early part of next year, and giving it a good explore and seeing what work's been going on and what needs to be done. Next point of interest here is the Erewash Canal Museum. Lock number 62. So you can take over the bridge back into the village itself. We can carry on with the canal, or we can cut through here. We're going to carry on with the canal, but there's another path down here and a little bit of local history to see. So this is part of Towton traction depot in Nottinghamshire. We're just outside of Long Eaton and the other side of Sandiacre. Now there's not much to see here. I remember back in the day, this gate here, you could just walk through it. It was like a proper footpath. You could just swing it open and you could take this path all the way through the yard. There used to be locomotives at the side here. There used to be people walking the dogs, you know, biking along. It was absolutely crazy. It's a shadow of its former self, unfortunately, but it's still going strong, and I believe it may feel the effects of the HS2 project if that gets off the ground. So that little area between the canal and Towton depot, that is known as Towton Washlands. It is highly liable to flooding, probably hence the name. But the Erewash was probably 2 inches away from going over the edge, so it is going to rain heavy tonight and through tomorrow, so it remains to be seen whether that'll tip it over the edge. Nice little property for sale there. Got a gorgeous bit of decking onto the water's edge. Lovely and peaceful, lovely size house. Okay, that's it for another trip along the Erewash Canal. I'm on the outskirts of Long Eaton, probably like 2 or 3 minutes walk away. So I'm going to stop now. I'm going to have a drink and a gingerbread man, and then I'm going to continue the journey, and that will appear in a video very, very soon after this one. So hope you enjoyed the video. Plenty more to come. We're off to Scotland soon, so you'll probably get them videos around about November time. Thanks for watching, take care, bye bye.